How much you care about you is the top. I'm only seeing you in a little piece of your life, but you're with you 24/7.
I want to introduce my friend Lon.
Whatever you want in life, whether it's the job, whether it's the relationship, or whatever it is, be that. Then you don't have to buy that.
Who do you have around you truly keeping you accountable?
The coach is good for clearing up that chaos, because what is actually hard is not life, it's confusion. You gain knowledge, you develop skill set, you test that so that you have experience, and you use goals as tools, not as the goal. The goal is not the goal. Your subconscious is just a filter. And if you don't say where you want to go clearly, it continuously offers up options because there's opportunity everywhere. It's what you can do with it at the moment.
Hey guys, we realize a lot of you are coming to the page and enjoying the content, but we see a lot of you still aren't subscribed. And so if you could click that subscribe button, it'll help our channel grow and give you more episodes with a lot of amazing individuals. Welcome back to another episode of Attractive Mindset. And listen, today's guest, I've known him for a few years, but the other day I got a chance to hear him actually speak on stage. And I've always known he's a knowledgeable person, but to see how the crowd made it make sense, and it takes a real kind of superpower to teach something to somebody, and he does this in a few different ways, and dancing is also one of them. And so I want to introduce my friend Lon.
What's up, man? Thank you for having me on the show. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And so for people who aren't familiar with you, you know, what kind of titles would you give them that you have going on right now?
Well, basically I do consulting. So like business consulting for people who, I started off with this thing called Mentor the Beast, which the concept in that was to use a 4-pillar system, which start with physical, because I feel that's the thing that people can control the most. Mm-hmm. And if you are looking to start a business or you're in business looking to level up, you really need to have your body in the right condition, and you're going to have a lot of endurance and a lot more energy to get to that next level. Mm-hmm. And that's something that you can control right from the start. So we start with that. So we go physical, then emotional, then mental, and then financial. Now, as I started doing that, I started realizing that a lot of people are not super clear on where they're at and where they want to go. So I have like a precursor to that. So it's chaos to clarity. Because as I started working with businesses, and they have, we got 15 products and 12 services, and we're marketing all of it, and we're not getting really anywhere. And I said, okay, well, there's one place where you can where you show up the best.
Yeah.
There's one thing that you are great at, and you branched out because people asked you, well, can you do this? Can you do that? And they were like secondary services to the one thing that you did. So it's like, what is that one thing? Because it's like you never get a second chance to make a first impression concept. Well, you want to make that first impression where you show up your best. So where do you show up your best? Mm-hmm. And then once we get them to that, we say, okay, let's put all of your marketing budget on that one thing. That way, when you go there, people meet you where you're great, and they have a great experience with you. Now they know, like, and trust you. And once they know, like, and trust you, and you get a chance to kind of get a feel for them and what it is they're doing and what it is their need, then you can introduce them to any other products or services that you have, because you know them, and because they know, like, and trust you, they're just going to go with it. They're going to do whatever you tell them because they feel like you're the expert now. And they feel like you're the expert because you gave them great service because you showed up where you were great.
Yeah. And
I feel like, that translates into every other part. And if I could just get them into that thinking, right, and get them hyper-focused into one place, mm-hmm. then taking them over into those 4 pillars and using that focus. That's why I call the 4 pillars of leadership and creativity. Because if you are going to be creative, but you're in survival mode in any of those 4 pillars, you can't be creative.
Yeah.
You're stressed, so we need to get you out of that stressed, that hyper stress, and get you into a focus mode. And then leadership, if you broke, if you physically, if you physically look like garbage, mm-hmm. if you are a hot mess emotionally and mentally you're scattered, who gonna want to follow you?
True.
That'll make no sense, because they're going, well, I don't want if following you is going to give me the life that I see you living right now, I don't want no part of that. All right. If you want to check out what I got to offer with Mentor the Beast, you can go to Instagram, look up Mentor the Beast, and you'll see it right in the link. Just join my school community where we go through everything that we talked about on this podcast. So check this out and you'll see what that is. Very and true. So people are having issues with that with their kids. They're having issues with that, having leadership positions at work, and no one is really listening to them. It's because, well, even though maybe the people can't articulate it to you because they don't know how to articulate that to you, or they know they shouldn't because you'll lose it. That's the reality. They see your life. They don't want the life you're living, and following you would probably produce the life that you're living. And that's why you're having a problem. And I had this conversation with a buddy of mine who lost a bunch of weight and got in a much better physical condition, but he's also in a leadership position at work. And he said, yeah, I mean, it's a huge difference the way that his kids respond to him. And now they want to do stuff like him. And now they're listening to the way he talks, and they're like, oh, well, his son's on a swim team. He's like, well, I got to go just a little bit. I can't be average on this team. I got to be better on this team because that's what Dad talks about all the time. And, I want to be like that.
There was something that I watched. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but it was like some true crime documentary thing. I don't know. My girlfriend watches all of that stuff. And it was a statistic that they had popped up that women are most likely to get attacked when it was talking about like kidnapping kids or children. Women are more likely to get attacked, but they said you would be surprised how close certain men are to that percentage. And the men that they do it for, if the man is out with his child or children as well, are those that are not fit. They look like they can't defend themselves, or that they, if I take this kid and run, you're not going to catch me.
You're going to get about 5 steps and pass out from a heart attack.
Exactly. And so that percentage, I forget exactly what the numbers are, but it was literally only off by like 3%, 4%. And I was like, wow, these kind of things actually matter, especially from even that point of view. Like, you're a target. Not only are you,
absolutely,
in your own life kind of dealing with stuff, but other people are preying on you not being ready to, do whatever you need to do.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I used to teach martial arts. I did it for a long time, and then I taught it. I ran martial arts school. And one of the things that we would teach is, if you don't want to be a victim, then don't look like one. That's number one. If you're fit, let's say somebody is thinking about stealing a purse for somebody, right? And both purses are really nice. So we're not going on, which one's Louis Vuitton, right? We're going on who's carrying the Louis Vuitton, right? If somebody's thinking about stealing that purse, they're not going to go after the lady that's got running shoes on and she's going to chase you down for that purse.
Yeah.
She is good. She is, right? My girlfriend has, I guarantee you she'll chase you down for that purse, right? So it is, if you're in great physical condition, even if you're in good physical condition, there's so many things that are not just easier for you, but are better for you in the sense that you're going to have more confidence. You like the way you look in the mirror. I mean, you don't want to get up, get a shower, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't like what you see. That's not going to help your confidence, right? And it messes with you. And even if somebody doesn't say anything to you, they don't need to say anything. The way they look at you is enough. They have said everything, right? That translates over into how you interact with your kids, how you interact with your partner. And when I'm coaching, especially guys, and guys are a little bit older, and if they've had, women cheat on them and things like that, and they're not in great condition, I'm like, look, you have money, you have a good position, but you keep getting these women that you say they keep, you're good for a while and then it's not good. Why is that? I said, okay, so we're going to do this scenario, right?
Clear the elephant.
We're going to get the elephant out of the room right this second. I said, what kind of woman you want? Tell me what she looks like. Tell me how she acts, And if we go off the physical, they always like, oh, she looks like this. She looks amazing. She's a model. I say, okay, we can stop there. Do you look like a model? No. So you want, when she takes her clothes off, to be able to go, oh my God. But then you're going to take your clothes off. She's going to go, oh my God. Right? Like it's a different, oh my God.
Yeah, it's a different
right? It's different. So if that's the way she feels about you, don't you think if you want to have an intimate interaction with somebody that you're sexually attracted to and looks amazing, do you think she don't want that? Of course she does. She wants it. So all that needs to happen is enough other things that she doesn't want stack up before she's going to go get what she does want.
Yeah.
Because you have that's built into your DNA. You want somebody that looks like they physically can take care of you and they can manage situations and things like that. 100%. So it's like the only way that you're ever going to have that person that looks like the way you want is you're going to have to trade something for it. And so you're having to trade money for it. Why? Because you don't have the other things. You don't have, do you have the conversation to go with it? And
then if you don't have the money.
Yeah. Well, then you just out of luck. You got to step down a few more notches. But that's the thing is, whatever you want in life, whether it's the job, whether it's the relationship, whatever it is, be that. Be that. Then you don't have to buy that. Because that's the natural interaction.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not opposites attract, right? It's like attracts like. Because I don't want to be in a room full of people who aren't going anywhere.
True.
I want to be in a room full of people who are moving and shaking and doing things so I can have conversations with them like yourself. What are you doing? You start telling me about stuff that you're doing that's interesting. And, we did this, we tried this, and we moved these pieces around and this is what we got. And then this didn't work out and then we reshuffled it and this is where we went. You're solving problems.
Yeah.
You're moving forward. You get in another room and they're talking about, man, this hurts, that hurts. I went to the doctor, the economy, everybody is, the man is out to get me. It's whatever, right? The only thing that no one's out to get you, but you're not out for yourself. That's the problem. It's not somebody's out for you. It's that you're not out for yourself.
Yep.
You're not putting that time, effort, and energy into becoming, when I did that speaking engagement that you were talking about, it was a self-made man that I used as the slod. And it's the guy that's got a hammer and he's chipping his body out of the big piece of rock. And the analogy I used is what he's doing, in my opinion, how I saw it, was he's removing his excuses. Right? If you want to see the greatness within, it's like, because people say, oh, you got greatness within. No, you have potential. You are not great. You're not a king. You're not a queen. You're not great. You're not this. You're not that. Stop it. Quit giving yourself titles, elevated titles that you have never earned. And you have no validation for those titles. No validation at all. Because when it comes time for you to actually perform, you can't. You give yourself this elevated title and you don't have the knowledge and skill set to back that title up, that when it comes time for it to be tested, you fail miserably. And then what you're doing is you're stacking up losses. Like Alex Hormozy, he's always, one of his things, I know you know who that is. I follow him. A lot of things he said, what you want to do is have undeniable proof. Yep. Well, then how do you get undeniable proof? Is you stack up wins, right? So how do you stack up wins? Well, you gain knowledge, you develop skill set, you test that so that you have experience, and you set goals, and you use goals as tools, not as the goal. The goal is not the goal.
Yep.
It's kind of like money. Money's not the goal. Money is a tool for you to leverage to get knowledge and skill set for you to have the lifestyle that you want and the life experiences that you want.
100%.
That's the thing that that's the thing everybody's going after. The goal is not money. The goal is not the house. The goal is not the this, that. These are all things that allow you to have a lifestyle and the life experience was the life experiences within that lifestyle that you want to have. But the only way that you're going to have any of those is if you start being able to set goals that are realistic based on your knowledge, skill set, and network, right? Because it's not all about you, right? You got to have the right network. You got to know the right people that you can access these things. You can't do everything yourself. If you can do everything yourself, you are playing so small. You are at the bottom. Trust me, if you can do everything yourself that it takes for you to win where you're at, it's because you're at the bottom right now.
And it even goes into like accountability. Like, who do you have around you truly keeping you accountable? Like yesterday we had a very successful real estate agent come in here, and we've had her on the podcast before, and she's done like 500 million in the Miami market. And she's been on her fitness journey and all that kind of stuff. And I hadn't seen her maybe in about a year or some change or so. And she had never been to the location yet. Last time she came and saw us, she was at the other location. And we said hi at the door, whatever. And then we came in here, she sat down. It wasn't even my interview. And, I was like, yeah, it's been a while. And she was like, yeah, you look 5 pounds heavier. That was her first response to me. And in my head, I'm like, damn,
okay.
She's not wrong. And so it's like, she didn't say it with a smile. She didn't say, just kidding. She didn't say, yeah, you're 5 pounds heavier. And it's like those kind of people in your life, especially the level that she's operating at, she's 100% serious. She's like, what are you doing? You stop taking care of yourself because you're getting more money? Yeah, I don't know about that. And, certain people can take that in a way where it's like, well, damn, I'm hurt or I feel some type of way. But would you want people around you that are just yes people? Would you want people around you that just tell you things that make you feel good instead of being actually truthful with you? And I feel like social media has also made that gap to where, just a culture in general where people say you're hating or you're jealous or whatever. And people have gotten a lot more sensitive to people that are actually looking out for your best interest almost. Sometimes, yes, they can be malicious, but having people around you that are high executors, okay, she's not going to tell me anything about, what I'm doing financially. She's not going to tell me what I'm doing mentally. She's not going to tell me what I'm doing emotionally, but she sees something. She sees my physical out of all of these things, and that's what she says. And so it's like, well, I gotta get back right.
It up.
Yeah, I gotta get back into that mode, because when I did meet her, yeah, I wasn't as big as I am now.
Yeah, I mean, people understanding that people that are the higher and higher level you go, they all have coaches. And some of their coaches are accountability coaches. Any coach is an accountability coach. That's worth their salt, honestly, right? But then you have those, and that's exactly what they're doing every time. I mean, you coach, and when you meet with people, all you're looking for is, did they do what you told them to do the last time you talked to them? And the first thing that you're looking for the holes. Why? Because you want to close those holes up so that now the boat floats.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how she's being talked to. She talks like that because that's how she's being talked to all the time.
Yeah.
Because the only thing she's doing is moving forward. These are not malicious people. These are high performers. They can't afford to be malicious
At all.
They can't, because that's not going to help them get everything that they're doing at a level where you're constantly looking for ways to succeed, in the sense of, I'm leveling things up because I'm in charge of not just myself, right? I have to look out for the people that are working for me, and maybe my family, and I have to look out for my network, because if I'm at the level where millions of dollars are on the line,
Mhm.
you have a network. Reality. And what I was saying before is if you're doing things, if you can do everything yourself, you're playing at the bottom. Why?
100%.
Because to be great at, you can't be great at everything.
Yep.
So if you're at I'm interacting with a lot more money level and a lot more things that have a lot more value, and you're working with people that are great. And the only way you could do that is, if they're different. No one person can have all that.
Yeah.
So with that said, now I have to look out for that network, and I can't introduce people into that network. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. It's like, hey, can you introduce me to this person? Can you hook me up with that? And I see you moving. Couldn't you just put in a good word for me? No, I cannot. No, I cannot. Or yes, I can, depending on what I see you doing. Because when I look at you, physical is the first thing that people see. Are you clean? Are you dressed? Are you, physically, how do you look?
Yep.
And what are they looking for? Discipline. What are they looking for? How much do you care about you?
100%.
Because how much you care about you is the top, because you're in charge of your life. I'm only seeing you in a little piece of your life, in a little spot, right? But you're with you 24/7. So how you feel, how you think, how you operate on a daily basis is going to be more important to you than it is to anybody else. So the first thing I'm going to judge that off of, how you look.
Yeah.
And that's how she's having to operate, because she's a high performer. So the better that she looks, not just what she's dressed. I tell people all the time, look, you can buy the Louis Vuitton, you can wrap yourself in Gucci, but that don't make you Gucci.
100%.
I mean, reality, that don't make you Gucci. Because if you take all that off, now how do you feel? Reality.
Yeah.
You put the keys down to the Corvette, you put the keys down to the Porsche, and you walk. What are you gonna do when you close the door to the Porsche? What you gonna do? Hang the keys out of your pocket
So
while you walk in? Somebody says, I guess he's got a Porsche. Oh, he must be important, because nothing else about you says that you're important. And what does important mean? Why is it important to be important? It's not. It's not a. You got to understand what they're thinking in that.
Yeah.
That you bring value, not just to the table. Everywhere you go, the value that you can bring to the room, to the table, to the whatever. Right. That's the room. That's your entry fee. You go to Miami and you pay $200 to get into a club.
Yep.
Now, you want to come into rooms like this, get invited to rooms like this. It's not about the $200. Somebody can offer you $500, and if you don't like them, it's like you're not coming in
at all.
I don't have to have the money. I'm definitely not having you on the show, though. Why? Because they don't align with your brand.
Yeah.
And you are responsible for all the people that that watch your show and what they want to see and how they think. And is this beneficial? Will this bring any value to their life when they watch this? And if the answer is no, it's like, I don't care if you give me $15,000. I'm still not going to have you on the show, because I'm going to be, I'm going to be a sellout.
Yeah.
Simple. So it is about the value. And when you talk people, they're emotional. It's like, oh, he called me this or he said that. It's like, I didn't call you anything. I called you out. I didn't say this is who you. I'm not judging you whether or not you go into heaven or hell. Do you understand? Right?
Yeah.
I am just saying, hey, this is not getting you the best result it could. This is not the most optimal version of you.
And I feel like a good person to link in with that. I've mentioned her in a few episodes. If you're watching this and you've watched those episodes in psychology, the psychology world, there's somebody called Elizabeth Loftus. And back in the early 1990s or so, she used to do these tests with polygraphs and stuff where she would ask people over time until they got used to the conversation. So the results of her test wouldn't come out until she had session 10 or 15 or 20.
Okay.
And so she would get people used to her just continually asking questions. And the question she asked would be, Were you ever abused? Were you ever sexually touched? Or did you have issues as a kid or this and that? And it would be people that when they sign up, they say, no, I don't have any of these issues. I've never had any of these issues. And after session 10 or so, something would change where her continually asking certain questions a certain type of way, they now started to create scenarios of moments or things that happened within their life which never happened,
Conditional. Yeah,
and
conditioning.
they
Yeah.
became true. And the polygraph said that they were telling the truth. And she was able to make people create scenarios in their life that never existed. And so I said all of that to say that's the other portion of what we deal with when, especially in consulting, doing coaching, people create their own problems and then believe that they're really real.
Yep.
There is a certain level of realness to them, of course, sometimes, but most of it is them standing in their own way, whether that's mental, emotional, physical, or financial. They're doing something that's not 100% aligning with what they think they can do. And that doesn't really come from a certain trauma or, my dad or mom did this to me when I grew up or, the man is holding me back or whatever. It's a philosophy that mentally people are trapped. We live in a world where you're born into a system, you're born into somebody else's reality. And most people don't know how to make a reality of their own.
No.
And they don't even know what it requires to do so. We go to school, different ages, different time frames, different states. I guarantee you wrote your name on the top of your paper. You wrote the date on the top of your paper. You wrote the class on the top of your paper. How do I know that? Because school is a system. They do that no matter where you go.
Conditioning.
That is the conditioning of it. And they do this in middle school, high school, college even. And after that is where the real disconnect happens, is because they've systematically trained you so much that now you're in a world by yourself. Nobody's telling you put your name on the top of the paper. Nobody's telling you, oh, you have to turn this assignment in at this moment, or you have to do X, Y, Z. And so, in a way, they conditioned us, or most people, to stop goal setting. They condition most people to not understand the assignment that's in front of them. And you got to pay your dues, whether that's reading books, whether that's turning in stuff, whether that's getting knowledge for yourself, because there's 1,000 books that I don't even remember reading in school, but I know I read them. They made me read them for whatever agenda that they wanted to, English class, science class, history, whatever, it doesn't matter. But when we get into our own life, it now becomes survival. It now becomes we have to focus on just making money, when that was never the problem to begin with. And that's how I start to lead with even the coaching that I do now, is understanding that making your system starts with you. You can't pawn it off on somebody. You can't pawn it off on your partner. You can't pawn it off on your kids. You can't pawn it off on your friends or family. And you definitely can't pawn it off on your coach. I'm not here to build it for you. I'm here to teach you and walk
coaching
you through
you,
it.
right?
That is literally the word of it. And some people misconstrue this in so many different ways. And one of the first things they'll say is, oh, well, coaching doesn't work. Or, oh, I wasted money. Or, oh, I feel this kind of way. Or, oh, this person scammed me, if you want to really go extreme. And it just turns into a, how can somebody get the same coaching as you, and they live in Rome right now? I think they just went on a world tour, Italy, Rome, Africa, France. He's probably going to go somewhere else because he's built his business. And then you, where, who knows? It's like some people, even with the tools that they have at their disposal, are looking for a quick fix, and they're not looking for a solution.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing in coaching, when people are looking at should I get coaching and how does coaching work, right? It's exactly what I start off with. The reason that I went from mentor the beast to chaos to clarity is, what is chaos? What is hard? So a lot of people say life's hard. You hear that all the time. I think it is the most ridiculous statement, and that is conditioning. Why? Because if I can make you believe life's hard, I can sell you a whole bunch of stuff for quick dopamine hits.
Yep. Motivation.
Because life is hard, and you don't deserve for life to be hard. You deserve more. You're a king. You're a queen. You're a little princess, or those things. The king, the queen, the princess thing. Like oh my God, those are triggers for me. Right? When I'm coaching, I'm like, we go. Yeah, pause. Put a pin in that, because we're gonna talk about that. Right? Life's not hard. Life is predictable, which makes it not hard.
Yeah.
There are so many things in life predictable. You say, well, there's lots of things in life that's not predictable. Okay. Well, there's so many people that are rich that are not assholes also.
100%.
Right? And you say, well, I know some people that are rich that are mean. It's like, first off, you broke. You don't know very many rich people.
Facts.
You saw some rich people. What your version of what you thought was rich. We don't even know if you saw rich people, because
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
people's definition of rich.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people will say I want to be a millionaire, but they've never been a thousandaire. Like they've never even been they've been maybe a hundredaire.
Yeah.
Right, but they don't even have $1,000 in their bank account.
Yeah.
You're not even a thousandaire, and you're talking about you want to be a millionaire. The financial literacy gap between thousandaire and millionaire is huge.
Huge.
Huge, huge, huge. That's why people say, oh, I'm going to do this. My New Year's resolution is so unrealistic. That's why you never hit it. That's the problem you're having. So what is a coach good for? A coach is good for clearing up that chaos.
Yeah.
Because what is actually hard is not life, it's confusion. That's the hard part. I have 15 choices. What Alex Hormozy would say is, what is strategy? Strategy is limited resources, unlimited opportunity. Short version. I have all these different ways that I can go, but I only have enough time, money, and resources to go maybe 2, and there's 15 choices.
Yep.
Problem is, I don't know which 2 to pick out of the 15. And if I pick one that is not the 2 that will actually work, I won't have time enough to get back if it don't work. And it's not going to work because it's not the right one. And I really don't have the time to pick one of the 2 that could work, but one of them's too long. Because I don't have the endurance to go the length. I need to pick the one that I have the time, resources, energy, and endurance for right now.
Yep.
The other one will work, but I'm going to have to build along the way. None of the rest of them will work. Why won't they work? Because you're too far away in terms of resources, energy, pretty much any direction will work.
Yep.
Provided you have enough endurance and resources and energy, all that stuff, right? The coach can look at you and say, okay, what is it that you want? And you say, I want to be a millionaire. And I say, no, you don't. Right? Because you don't even understand. I say, okay. We'll never say that to anybody. Yeah, I know that. I'm never going to say no, you won't to anybody that I'm coaching. Not right off the jump. Yeah. Especially if I don't know them really well. I say, okay, cool. What are you going to do with that $1 million if you had it? And define a millionaire for me. Like, is that somebody that has $1 million, or is that somebody that has the knowledge to make $1 million a year? Like, define millionaire for me in your terms, right? And then they say that. I say, okay, well, if you could reach that, what would you do with it? What would your lifestyle look like? They don't know. No clue.
And something that I simplified it, because I used to say the same exact thing, and people started telling you what you wanted to hear. And I'm sure you definitely get that as well. And so I said, okay, you want to be a millionaire? Sure. Will an extra $3,000 a month change your life right now? Oh yeah, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. I'm not sure you want to be a millionaire. I said, because how much would you have to make a month to just do 1 million a year? Let's start there. Now, you see the top line of that. When you just told me 3K would dramatically change your life, we're talking about two different numbers here.
Yeah, you talk
Now,
about 30K versus 3K,
exactly.
and we're talking about the knowledge and skill set that you currently have. Like the knowledge and skill
100%.
set you currently have, you could potentially make 3K more
Mm-hmm.
if I pointed you in the right direction. But the
Exactly.
knowledge and skill set that you currently have with the network you currently have will not make 30,000 more.
At all.
You will have to gain more knowledge, skill set. You're going to have to get in a different physical condition.
Yep.
You're going to have to meet other people that you don't know right now,
Yep.
that you're uncomfortable being in the room with right now.
Yep.
Like there's so many things that you're going to have to do to level up to get to that level
Yep.
when you could increase yourself by 3K
Exactly.
with what you got currently.
Exactly.
And it's really looking at what life, if you just look, what is the lifestyle that you want to live?
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? Like you get up in the morning and walk me through a normal day. You don't have to have every second planned out, but like what would you do? How many times would you eat? You know, what kind of food would you eat? Maybe we stop eating cereal, right, and eat some actual food.
Yeah.
You know, and just some things that you need to understand. And what would that look like? How would that change the way you interact with your kids? How would it change the way you interact with your wife? How will that change the vacations that you're going on?
Exactly.
What does that look like? Because if you focus on the money, you only got so much. If you got kids and they're not 18 yet, you got a window that you're going to be able to have vacations and experiences with them.
Yep.
And if you spend that window because you're so far away from the knowledge and skill set you need to make that million that you want to have, because you think that's a magic number, you're going to spend all your time that you could have spent with them on that. And then you're going to get to it and they're going to be little assholes that you're not going to want to be around. They don't talk to you. Why? Because you spent no time with them, because you spent all that time trying to make this. And it really didn't increase your life. It made your life worse. Why? Because now the thing that was supposed to be the most important, which was your family, you spent no time with.
100%.
It's crazy.
I have a student where she was like, she's trying to build her business on the side while working a 9 to 5 at the same time. I said, that is normal. That is 100% normal. She's like, oh, well, I'm overwhelmed. Like, I wake up and I work on the weekday and I have another job on the weekend and I'm trying to build this business and it's just overwhelming and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you know, my boyfriend, I live with my boyfriend and, you know, it's hard, it's rough, it's this. I just deserve a break. And I said, okay, what does a break look like for you? She's like, you know, quitting my jobs and doing whatever. I said, okay, let's say you quit all your jobs. What happens? Well, you know, I send him like little memes. I don't mean it, but, you know, I send him little memes like I tell my boyfriend that work is hard and he just tells me you've got this instead of being like you can be a stay-at-home girl or something like that. and I'm like, well, one, I feel like you mean that, but two, I said, so you deserve a break at his expense. And she was like, well, no, you know, at my
That's
expense.
what you just said.
I said, but this is what you just told me. That you want to take a break because you don't want to build yourself. I said, okay, sure. Say he makes you a stay-at-home girl. Then what do you do? Oh, I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll do this, I'll do that, I do that. And I'm like, you know, I like that you bring this up because you're taking us to a conversation of household dynamics, right? And in these household dynamics, there's always the long form argument of the man pays for everything and, you know, takes care of the woman and this and that and runs the house and then she stays home and take care of the kids. I said, but this is 2025. One, spending is different. Two, I said, you're not even married. Three, and because of how life is set up, you don't even have any kids. I said, it is logically, I said, I want you to think with me logically, not emotionally. This man can go be with other women if he wants to. do whatever he wants to. If he's able to take care of you, where you don't have to work or do anything, you don't have any kids with each other, it would be cheaper for him to be single. At that point.
Way cheaper. Like we about to get in 15 different conversations right now. I mean, my brain is like, I'm like, oh my God, because the amount of conversations we have coaching is just
yeah.
Oh my
it would
God.
be way cheaper to just be single. I said, but you want him to take on your level of stress. I said, but I didn't hear you tell me that you would help him with what he's taking care of you for. I said, so God forbid, because this is real life and we see it happen often, he breaks up with you. Common. Let's say you do get married. He still breaks up with you. Common.
Or you break up with him.
You break up with him. Common. You have kids, you get a divorce. Common. God forbid he passes away. Common. I said, you're still left where you left off.
But in a worse place.
In a worse place.
Because now you don't have job history anymore. You don't have credit history anymore.
Or security.
You don't have none of that no more. Mm-hmm. Because you put it in somebody else's hands.
Exactly. And then when I said all of that, she was like, okay, so what's the next step for the business? I was like, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, the crazy thing is like what you were talking about, like you made so many good points. But one of them was mindset. Mm-hmm. And the way that I think of mindset is the way that you set your mind up to operate for what you want.
Yep.
Right? So if we think of mindset as the way that you're going to program, what program am I going to run? Mm-hmm. Because your subconscious, the way that I explain it to people is your subconscious is just a filter. Mm-hmm. It sees everything and then it filters out everything that's not relevant to where you said you want to go.
Yeah.
And if you don't say where you want to go clearly, it continuously offers up options. Why? Because that's its job. It needs to filter out everything that's not the goal or not the thing that we're going after, the lifestyle that we're going after, the experiences that we're going after. So what does it need to do? Because there's opportunity everywhere. Anybody that says there's, you get one shot, one opportunity, is like Eminem said. When he said that, he was at the bottom.
Yep.
That's why he had one shot, one opportunity, because he had very limited resources, very limited skill set, very limited network. But as you increase those things, you start realizing opportunity is always and everywhere.
100%.
It's what you can do with it at the moment. Mm-hmm. So if you don't set your mind up to say, this is what I want, that's part of the chaos that's going on. It's like, you want this, you want this, you want this. You're like, I don't know what to do because I'm always thinking about these things. Yes, you're always thinking about these things because you've had no coaching.
Yep.
The people that you hang around aren't at the level that they've gotten coaching themselves so that they can give you good advice.
Yep.
Or advise you to talk to a coach. Mm-hmm. So you can say, and here's what we always go down to, right? What is your passion and purpose?
Yeah.
And you say, well, what does that look like? Because some people talk about passion and purpose, but in a way that's in my opinion, too emotional or too shallow, right? It's like, what is passion? It's flow state. That's all it is. It's flow state. What does that look like? When you get in a conversation that went on 4 hours and it felt like 20 minutes, why did that happen? Because you were focused.
Yep.
What does that mean? You were present. What does that mean? Time disappeared. What does that mean? Time is a human construct. There's no such thing as time. Time is a way for us to reference what has happened and what potentially will happen. But it's just a reference point to make sure that we can meet up somewhere in the future, or if we're talking about something that already happened, we say it happened this date at this time, right? But it's not a thing that's in the physical reality that we live in. The physical reality we live in is only the present. At all moments is only the present. So time doesn't really exist. So when you're thinking about what might happen in a conversation based on what has happened, you're still in the past a little bit.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about what may happen in the conversation, You're thinking about what could happen in the future. And you're trying to be in the present. You're in 3 places at one time. You can't, that's called split focus. You're half-assing it or third-assing it. You know, is what you're doing, right? But you're not here. You know, you have to be here. And when you get here, wherever that is, that's flow. You're there and you're in a great conversation. You don't care. You don't care about what did happen. You don't care what might happen. You're just in it. You're just in it.
And
what happens?
That you say that because, you know, on the subject of that time, like that is so important when it comes to, and I know for sure you deal with this. Well, how long is it going to take?
You tell me.
Exactly. You want me to put, you know, and we've had to do this because people just won't understand it without it. But okay, cool. Here's a 3-month package. Here's a 6-month. Here's a 12-month. But execution is so separately. I can do this with you for 6 months and you not execute. And then where does that leave us? There's no set amount of time to success. Which is why some people feel like or look like overnight successes versus some people that take 10 years. It's different levels of execution. Sure, you can do the compounding execution, which is 1% better a day, and that's less jarring. That's what majority of people would feel better.
It's what they can handle.
It's what they can handle. But now you can't say something like that to somebody like a David Goggins. Because he's not doing 1% a day.
Because it's like, look, you're doing the 1% because you're not passionate about the thing you're doing. If you're doing the thing that you're doing for money, because money, when you're doing something for money, that's just like buying a Louis Vuitton purse, but you're not Louis Vuitton level.
Yeah.
But what does Louis Vuitton level even mean? It means you could buy that purse and it would be no different than if you buy a $10 handbag from Walmart. It would hurt you just the same.
Yeah.
Which would not at all. It's like if I'm going to make the decision of where to go to eat today, and I don't eat wherever I decide to eat, and I'm just going to eat, and that's going to be it. If I walk by and see that Louis Vuitton, and I want it, I just buy it, and it makes no difference to me. It doesn't hurt me.
Yeah.
But if you had to save up for months, and you're having to, plan now because you bought it, you're not there.
Yeah.
You're buying something you're trying to elevate yourself to a level that you think that will make you feel better when people look at you because you looked at somebody else and you said, man, I wish people felt about me like I feel about that person right now because what I think about that person, because what I see them carrying. And but when they talk, they're actually at the level. When you talk, you're not. That's the difference. It's superficial. It's superficial. So when you're saying it's a 1% thing, that's what you need a coach for.
Yeah.
Because the coach is going to tell you, unless you want to move at 1% increments every day, we need to find something that you can get into a flow state with.
Yep. And
you need to keep your job. Why? So you can pay your bills. Don't stop your job and then jump over here to this thing. Because I'm passionate about it, I'm living. You won't work a day in your life if you love it. Look, stop. Keep working. Trust me. Keep working. Pay your bills.
Yep.
Because when you get into this flow state, what's going to happen is because the past doesn't exist there. The future doesn't exist. You're just in it. Obviously, if all of your focus is in one spot, you're going to be able to absorb more for a longer period of time, and you're going to be able to retain more. The military does this with flow state.
Yep.
And it's something like 200% difference in what they can retain if they can get them into a flow state. It's insane numbers. That's how people look like overnight success. They're not overnight success. They just were able to stay focused, learning. They were able to retain more, and they were able to do it. And it wasn't overnight. It was, let's say it was over 6 months.
Yeah.
They were able to cover 12 years of what it will take you to cover in 6 months.
100%.
Because they got into a flow state. They were able to stay reading or doing whatever that thing was for 6 hours, as opposed to your hour, maybe hour and a half. You stayed there for 4 hours, but half of it was looking on Instagram because you trailed off. or you wasn't paying attention, or you were falling asleep, but they're so engaged because they're in that flow state that they're able to stay there for a full 6 hours, retain the information, do something with it because they're excited about it. Passion is for you. Passion is what are you passionate about learning that thing? And if you're passionate about it, you're going to execute, you're going to test it.
Yep.
Right? Because it's like a new toy that's like, oh my God, I got to see what this does. Really, purpose is for others. It's how you take the thing that you were passionate about, the knowledge and the skill set that you have now developed, and you share that.
Yep.
That's purpose. So if you say, I want to live in my purpose, what you're saying is you want to live in service to others.
Yep. Through
sharing the thing that you got really super excited about. And that is where you're going to be like, do the thing that you love. Well, why are you going to love it? You love it because you're being able to because now you have value. You may have Louis Vuitton. I'm not knocking Louis Vuitton. It's just an example.
100%.
It's just an example. That's why my little girl is like, I want to be a princess. I'm like, sweetie, let me tell you something. Real quick, we're gonna go down this road with you. Look, Google for me responsibilities of a real princess and read it to me. It's like, bro, if you could see her face change while she's reading all these responsibilities, I'm like, yeah. You see how much free time she said? I said, you want what you think are the benefits of being a princess, but you don't want none of the responsibilities.
100%.
Because they all had tutors, right? They had one teacher that was relentless in every subject. They had the best teacher there was, and they had to learn to ride, and they had to learn to fight, and they had to learn all the subjects in school, and they had to learn how to communicate in rooms that made them uncomfortable, and they had to learn how to be an adult when they were small, and all the things that they would have to learn how, and they had to be proper, and they had to have perfect etiquette, and all these things. If you're going to be a princess, you got to be like perfect.
Yeah.
That's like somebody saying, hey, kings, hey, queens. It's like, you're not a king or queen. First off, you're in America. There's never been a king and a queen in America. We were not founded on king and queens. That's not how it works, right? So you don't even know what you're saying. Secondly, all you're looking to do is you're looking to have all these benefits without any of the responsibilities. You're asking for a service position is what you're asking for, because a king or a queen is a servant to the kingdom.
The kingdom, yeah.
You've got to take care of the kingdom. Now, what happens if anything goes wrong? If it goes really wrong, what happens? You get your head lopped off.
They've never seen Game of Thrones.
Right. Like, you better watch. You like TV so much, you should watch that, right? Because if you mess up, it's game over, is what it is. You know?
There's another part to it too, where, and a lot of people are not going to like this, and I don't care. This is the truth, the honest truth. A lot of people's perception of what God told them can be wrong.
It's your perception that's wrong.
And that's exactly
it's not God
what they
is
do.
wrong.
They're like,
it's your perception.
God told me to take this path, or God told me to start this business, or God told me to do this. And, I don't doubt that part. I'm not here to tell you your conversation or your life with the man above, but how you interact with what he told you can be different, because you took it as you should start your own business to do this. But what if he wanted you to join somebody else's that was already doing what you started the business for? You wanted it to be more about you when it could be you joining the cause.
Because you were looking for validation.
Exactly. And there's so many people that struggle because of this concept. Like, no, I know I have to stick to doing this, and I have to do this. And it's like, you're trying to do things one-dimensionally, and you're not executing at the level that you need to do that. And I love when people try to get Bible verse with me, because I'm going to go toe for toe. And I start bringing stuff up where they're like, yeah, this is also in the Bible. Since you want to bring up this quote, don't forget about this one. Don't forget about this verse. Don't forget about what he said over here and all of these things. If you want to, there will be a way to overthrow an excuse or give an excuse for anything.
Well, and they want to bring up these struggles. Like, how many times you've been, because you speak on stage, right? How many times have you sitting there listening, And somebody will come up, God told me to do this. And they go through this whole struggle. And the whole time you listen to it, you're like, I could have solved that problem in a week. You could have been good.
100%.
You went through 2 years worth of some struggle that you didn't need to go through because you thought that God told you to do it. And I'm not knocking that God told you to do it, but really what you're looking for is people to clap for you at the end of this. Oh, look, it's like you stretched a week's worth of work out over 2 years. And what you really want applause for is your struggle.
Yep.
When what you're up here on the stage for is to help people move forward in their life.
Yep.
And you're saying, well, when I share my struggle, they'll relate to my struggle. And it's like, and the whole time they talk about themselves. But what you don't see is them going, if you are here, I, as a mom of 3 or as a, whatever they are, I know what it's like to be where you are, basically. So now I've connected to you, right? We are somewhat similar. We have a connection point. God's, I prayed about this and God spoke to me and said, go this way, right? Now, I did it and I didn't have a network. I didn't have this. I did it on my own and it took me 2 years to do this, right? And that was a struggle or whatever. But when I got there, this is the result of it. And now this is how you can do what I did in less time.
Yep.
Right? But it's proof that even if you don't have the things, you can do it. Now, what would the smart way to be to do it? Get a coach.
Yeah.
Get a coach.
And when you get the coach, listen to the coach.
Listen to the coach.
I have another student right now, someone that and we had a conversation the other day, and I feel like our next conversation is going to be a little more abrasive, but for the benefit of this individual, because the conversation we had the other day just sounded so much, there was so much busy work involved with it. And I had to say, look, and it got to the point where I went and I took screenshots of bank accounts. I took screenshots of, studio revenue and whatever. I said, here's this, which is literally a fraction of the size of what you have. And I am 4-timing, almost 5-timing the amount of revenue that yours has going on when your space is 5, 6.
Phenomenally.
You know what I'm saying? And I said, I am telling you literally what to do. And that number is with no ads. That number is with no grants. That number is with no outer forces. And you're not doing it. I'm not sure exactly where the confusion is, but I am literally giving you the blueprint because this is only 1 year. This space has only been alive for 1 year.
It's the filter, dude. It's the filter because, like what we were saying before, your subconscious is filtering. It's like when people say, go with your gut because your gut is always right. No, it's not. Don't do that. Don't do that.
At all.
Stop, right? If you don't have a lot of knowledge and skill set in the area that you are dealing with, that you are now getting a gut feeling in, you probably should ask someone else.
Yep.
Right? Because your gut feeling is based on, it's like an emotional response that is based on your previous interactions. And if that was all based in fear, well, now we know why your gut feeling is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. I should be afraid of this. Not necessarily. Maybe you should be. Maybe you should be.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you should be afraid of moving forward at all because of the limited knowledge that you have, the limited skill set that you have.
And it's the connection that you have. What I like to tell people up front, and some people do it extremely well, some people have a hard time of doing it, is stop thinking you are your business. You're not. There's literally a difference. You have a social security number. Your business has an EIN.
It is different.
And on top of that EIN, you have an FEIN. And that's a whole advanced conversation that most people never even get to. You have something called sam.gov where it's a crazy percent. I want to say 90 something percent. It's on SBA.gov, the statistics, though. This is a website that's free to go check on. Your business is not a real business because you're not even federally registered. You have an LLC, you have a C Corp, you have an S Corp, you have a nonprofit, you have a whatever you want to name it, and you don't have an FEIN. And so the government doesn't even fully recognize you. And you're missing out on opportunities and money literally because you don't have that.
Tax exemptions.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. But that's your filter, right? Because it goes back to, what is a coach good for? Because a coach can come in and say these things to you and say, look, I know you're doing a lot of work. And you say, I'm exhausted, I'm doing so much work. Yes, but some of the work is not necessary to get to the goal that you want.
100%.
And a lot of it is the goal that you want. Well, what is the goal that what do you ultimately want your life to look like? Because what your life is going to look like if you continue to go down this road, and you say, well, I'm helping people, I'm doing God's work. Okay, I don't doubt that. But you could also, but what you don't realize is there's more than one way to get to anything.
Yep.
More than one way. You could do God's work and have a good life, and don't equate how hard it was for you to you being a little bit further along in the line to get into heaven.
Yeah. Right.
That you're not going to get more jewels in your crown, a bigger mansion, or anything like. I mean, I don't know what you're going to get, but yeah, if that's how you're thinking about it, right. How much you suffered doesn't equate to how good of a person you are.
Your purpose is conditional.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, a lot of people they feel like if they suffer more, then it means more.
Yep.
No, it just means you're paying more ignorance tax. That's what you're doing. You're paying more ignorance tax.
I put my hand over the stove. I burn my hand. Because I burned my hand for 30 seconds, I can tell you how bad this hurts. Yeah. I put my hand over it for 1 second. I said,
it still hurt. Right? I know it hurts. I don't need to sit there with it.
I'm good on that.
But if people change the way they think about things, you could change your position in life really quick without even gaining any new knowledge or skill set or nothing. You could really change the way. And this is what I'm talking about, because I know it's going to upset people. I say something about kings and queens, and I'm sitting here white as I could be from Alabama, right? But and my little girl talking about a princess, but it's all the same thing about her being a princess, because you're elevating yourself to a position. What happens is when you elevate yourself to a position that you have not earned and you do not deserve, because you do not do anything that would be the definition of that title.
Yeah.
Then when that title is tested, you can't perform.
Yeah.
How do you feel about yourself? And how do other people view you? Because when they view you as entitled, because it's a title.
Yeah.
They view you as entitled. But what they don't view you as is valuable. But that's the whole reason that you're wanting the title, is to have a certain value. But by insisting to have this title that you do not represent the definition of, no one values you. They just see you as entitled. You're going against what you're after.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you understood that, because if you go gain the knowledge and skill set to get the lifestyle and experience that you want, and you can bring value to the table, you're not going to need a title. You're not, because everybody going to want you in a room.
Yep.
They don't need to call you a queen or a princess or a prince or a king or whatever. They just want you there, because they know if you're in the room, if you're on the team, we're winning.
Yeah.
We're winning.
Easy.
When you walk into the place, somebody say, oh, he's here. He's here. Like, this conversation is about to pop off.
If I go play basketball outside and this is a pickup game in the park and I see LeBron on the bench.
Oh, we don't care what we call him, right? Come on over. We don't got to give you no titles, right? Your name. His name. That's who he is, what he has earned. Yeah. But, whatever you're calling him, is because of the knowledge and skill set that he has
Yeah.
from all the work that he did, not what he insisted somebody call him and what he insisted somebody, well, you need to do this for me because you're what?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're what?
And it's been proven, even in the same analogy, not even we, because I don't do it, but I see other people do it to where they argue about, oh, the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, LeBron, this and that. And it's like, y'all argue about it more than they do. They don't even argue.
They don't argue about it. They're just doing it.
Yeah, they don't say anything.
That's like you wearing all the team colors you wear. You look like garbage,
Mm-hmm.
right? Eating garbage.
Yep.
At the stadium. You're like, my team, my team, my team. That none of them know who you are.
At all.
You dressed up. You paint your face. You paint your whole body.
Some people run on the field.
Ridiculous. You look ridiculous.
Yeah.
You'll never put that amount of effort into you winning. But you're putting that amount of effort into being
a cheerleader.
The winning team. I am the winning, because you want to associate yourself because you want to be great. What if if you put that energy into you, but you don't believe you can do it, you believe they can do it. Why can they do it though? Because they put in the effort and energy. It's like somebody, you're great. You're enough. Enough for what? Enough for what? Okay, let's just say that you're enough. Let's say you're great and let's say that you're enough. Yeah. Let's give you this scenario. And we got to make a financial decision. And if it's wrong, we all lose our houses and cars. And if it's right, we all get 3 more of each. Do you have the financial literacy to make this happen?
Facts. And what I used to do, and I think I'm going to actually bring it back, is I used to write like this fake check where it would be like 100,000 or something, like 1 million, whatever. And it was a digital thing that I would send to some of my students with the stuff. And I'd be like, yo, here's a check. How do you spell your full name? Like it'd actually look real. And then I'd draw it or whatever. And I would say, okay, cool. If you do this, I'll send this check to you. And they were like, I'll knock it out the park. I'll do this right now.
Okay.
I'll do this or whatever. I said, so why couldn't you do that for your own business the first time? I said, you need somebody else to offer you an amount of money to go that hard for your business? I said, because what I'm asking you to do is what you should be already doing. And so what you let me know is that you are money motivated by it. And I almost want you to quit.
And the thing is, you got to see, well, what is the motivation behind the money? They see the amount of money, just like they see that Louis Vuitton. They see it as a title. Like if somebody paid me X amount of money, it'd be because I'm worth that. So if I can just do, it's like, yes, the money is like a trophy, kind of, for what you can do. But if you can't do it, you don't get the trophy.
Yep.
It's like in the Olympics. They swim or whatever they do. Whoever can cross the finish line first gets the first place trophy. But you got to put the work in.
Yeah.
But you got to put the work in. Let's say that you viewed school like this. At school, you took tests, right? So what did you do? They presented you with material. You trained on that material in the form of, we're going to explain it to you. Right? We're going to give you a formula. We're going to explain to you how to take information, plug into the formula, and get out an answer.
Yeah.
And you said, well, I don't really see the relevance to it. Whether you use that or not is not the point. Now, they never really tell us this, but what if you thought about it like this?
Yep.
The point of school is to teach you how to take information, put it into a formula and use it, and be tested on that information to see how much of the information do you retain based on the way that you trained on the information. So it's a way for you to test yourself. So now when you get out of school and you want to accomplish something, you can say, okay, to be able to do that thing or to be able to have that thing or whatever it is, what kind of person do I need to be? What does the person that could achieve that look like?
Yep.
What would they need to know? What would they need to have? Who would they need to know? All this. Okay. Am I that person yet?
Yep.
Okay, I'm missing in these 3 areas. So what does that look like? So let me go try, and then I'm going to test myself on it and see where I land. And then If I'm at 80%, what is the 20% that I missed? Go do that. Now test yourself on that again until you can hit 100%. And now what do you have? Undeniable proof that you can go achieve that thing because we already figured out what that was. Now that is also what a coach could be for, is to show you how to put that together, right? Because now you know how to take information, test yourself on the information, utilize it for something. School is just basically 12 years of gathering information, training on it, testing on it, seeing what the result is, seeing where you missed, go back and fix that. If you viewed it that way, that you had 12 years worth of doing that. So why aren't you using it?
100%.
Because you didn't look at it that way. You said, well, they taught me a whole bunch of stuff that I don't use. The point wasn't to teach you the stuff. The point was to teach you the formula of information, test on it, see where you miss, go back, fix it.
That's too expanded of a thought process, you know, and I feel like the civilian sector of the world is what causes that mindset shift, that difference in ability. And of course, the other smaller factors of who are your parents? You know, what are your parents subjected to? What do you actually believe in? What are you following? All of those play little tiny factors. But even in like the military, like, okay, cool, I joined the Marine Corps. I have to go to boot camp for 3 months. And after boot camp, I got to go to MCT for a month and some change. And after MCT, I go to tank school to learn how to operate my tank for another several months. And then I hit the fleet with everybody else in the Marine Corps. Until then, I am put in different groups of training for different lengths of time and testing in order to get this information. And there's no such thing as, oh, well, you know, you pass with a D grade or something like that. Like, you either pass or you don't.
You need that feedback loop.
Yeah, you either pass or you don't. And that relates to the real world in the sense of people have to let go of this idea that they have of money. Like, it still goes back to separating yourself from your business. Like, my situation even is what I tell people all the time. I need you to understand what my company makes. And I need you to understand what I make from my company. I need you to understand what my company pays for. I need you to understand what I pay for. I need you to understand what amount of time goes through my company and what amount of time goes through my life. These three main key things is what makes somebody quote unquote successful or not successful. Because I'm helping people right now. Your coach, they know who they are, who make millions of dollars already. They want to stop. Why do they want to stop? Because they've now tied their time to making money. They just have a very high paying job. And that's where I become quote unquote richer than that coach. No, I don't make as much as they do, but I have, again, time doesn't exist. And so I have way more time.
So what does your experiences look like?
Than all of that.
Yeah, what does your experience look like? What does your mental health look like? What does your emotional stability look like?
Exactly.
Are you a hot mess or can you emotionally manage yourself, right?
Exactly.
Do you have emotional capacity or don't? Because when we start looking at these things, I mean, it's important, right? It's so important not to be entitled. You don't deserve, like, quit looking at what you deserve. Well, I deserve this because I'm in fill in the blank. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a race, if it's your last name, whatever it is. It doesn't matter, because here's a couple of things that you can't control. Can you control the fact that you are black?
Nope.
Could have been white. Could have been Asian.
Could have been.
Could have been Latin. Right? What about where you were born?
Nope.
So why does anybody wave a flag about it? I'm white, I'm black, I'm from whatever. You did nothing to be white or black or Asian or anything else. You did nothing.
This is true.
So if you tie all your value to what color you are, where you came from, you are not in control of what your life is going to look like. Just like if you say, it's because of this person or these people or those people did it to me. Well, okay. So what you're saying is if those people don't choose to do something different, you're just stuck where you're at.
Yep.
Because you just gave all the control of you being wherever you want to be to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
What you need to do is take all of that responsibility onto yourself, realizing that by doing that, you are now in control. And that is terrifying for people who are confused, people who have low knowledge, low skill set, low self-esteem, all this kind of thing. This is why coaching is so important. You have a coach. I have a coach. Trust me, any coach has a coach.
Yep.
Because they know the value.
100%.
Right? I spend thousands and thousands of dollars on coaching. Right? Reality. Why? Because it's important. Because I need clarity.
Yep.
Because why would I tell somebody they need to spend thousands of dollars on me? I don't spend thousands of dollars on another coach. That makes no sense.
100%.
It's like, don't go sell Mercedes, but yet you drive a Lexus, right?
Yeah.
Go to the Lexus dealership, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, reality, you know? So clarity is everything. Clarity is everything. You have to be super focused, super clear. Because going back to that, why are these people not doing what I tell them to do? Because they don't have the filter that you have.
Yep.
The level of filter that you have, the daily things and the daily issues that come up, it's very easy for you to say yes or no, or not right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're able to make strides, and you go back and you've made 20 steps and they've made a half a step. And how is that? When the steps that you made were, I mean, you could say it were much more difficult because they more hung on them than the steps that your students made. And it wasn't about what was at stake.
Yep.
It was about how clear they were when a choice came up. They needed to make a decision, and they either could or couldn't. Mm-hmm. And they get super stressed. And that, again, the amount, if I said, okay, what does your relationship look like? Because a lot of people are in, I won't get into this, but what does your relationship look like? And let's say it's not optimal. Let's say, okay, what would optimal look like? Okay, and most people say, I would do anything. How many times you heard this? I would do anything. Anything means literally anything, right? That means anything that I can come up with that I say, okay, well, I'm going to charge you this, or I want you to do this. That's anything. That's within the realm of anything. Mm-hmm. To have this thing you want, that I would do anything to have a better relationship with. Fill in the blank. And then you say, all right, $10,000. I mean, wait a minute. Now, well, I thought you said anything.
You know what that reminds me of? That commercial. What's that commercial? Now I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Right? Oh my God. For real? That's that man, I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. But, to something that you were saying about that, the girl you were coaching, and she was talking about her boyfriend, and if we look at what makes sense, we're going. A lot of people ain't gonna like this, but it is what it is. Reality is not always something that you like, right? But it is what it is.
100%.
Right? Why is prostitution still around? Why does it work? It works because let's give you this. Let's put it together a scenario. Okay, high performing man that makes, let's just say, 7 figures a year. Okay, so this is a person who has hit $1 million a year. But let's just stay with it, right? Because my mind is like, right? So high performing man that makes $1 million a year. He decides to get with a woman that is relatively his age. We're going to call that within 10-year bracket, right? To where everybody would be comfortable seeing them together. We're assuming he's at least 40, right? So now within a 10-year bracket in any direction, and she's also high performing, makes less 6 to 7 figures also. They get together. They're probably going to have a lot to talk about initially because they're both high performers, right? And let's say they don't have kids yet or whatever. But she's stressed. She's a high performer. He's a little stressed, but guys and women handle stress differently usually. We're talking about just a usual situation. We're not talking about, well, I know this person. I'm sure you do, right? But that's not, we're talking about just, all right. What is he looking at as far as home life? Right? After the honeymoon phase is over. Let's say we in this relationship. Are we married now? Let's say we're married. It's been 2 years. What does it look like? Okay. Now, he is a 7-figure earner, which means he has access to what? Hormone treatments. He gets his blood work done all the time. He's in great physical condition. He has a trainer. So if he's 40, he's operating better than just about every normal 20-year-old. Because your hormone levels are going to be perfect because you now have the money to make sure they are. Your physical condition is going to be amazing because you have a trainer, and most 20-year-olds can't afford that. So they don't have a trainer. So you in a physical condition, we go to a Spartan race, the kid's going to lose because the 40-year-old is going to dust them because they have a trainer and they take care of their body. They know what they're doing, right? By this time, they've been able to be in great condition, right? So you like that. What is the woman like? Let's say she's the same way. Let's say she's in great condition. But what are you dealing with now? All of the stress and problems that she brings home from work. That's what you are hearing. Now you are able to have a good conversation, but she's your equal, right? She's your equal. So she's taking nothing from you. Not that you've given anything, but still. How much intimate relationship are you having? Well, I mean, let's just say she's about your age. She's maybe not what it could be. Why? Because she's stressed. She's pissed. She's ready to strangle people at work, right? So you're dealing with that. She's not in the mood. Because what happens with a guy and what happens with a woman classically are very different dealing with stress. A guy, intimate interaction is going to be something that you use to de-stress. Why? Because it's a flow state. You get into an intimate interaction, nothing exists. Literally nothing. Except that moment, that person, that's it. And if you've taken care of your body and you're good, like you're good. You're good with you know what you're doing. You've been doing it long enough. Like every day could be, hey, let's go. Right. Why? Because it de-stresses, right? I made $1 million not so I could be in an intimate interaction once every 2 months.
Facts.
Right? I did it so that I can have the lifestyle and the life experiences I want. Which means the reason I look amazing is so I can have somebody else that looks amazing and they're attracted to me. Right? I'm doing the things that are required, that I feel are required for that person to be like, this is a great life. But yet, I'm not getting the great life that I want. Because they're not dealing with stress the same way. Because when they're stressed, they're not in the mood.
No, facts.
They have to de-stress somehow to be able to get into a place like that. But what can a guy do? I'm there. Right? It's like, oh, yeah, I go there right now. Immediately. Why? Because it's the way I view it and it's the way I use it. Right? But most women ain't like that.
No.
So when you deal with that over and over, right, that becomes a problem. So now I put all this time and effort into being successful in every aspect of my life. And the one that is the most important, now it isn't working. Now, because that isn't working, because we're talking about obviously sexual intimate, interaction. Now, just interaction is not working. Why? Because I'm not getting what I want, right? I'm not being able to de-stress, so I'm a little bit more stressed. Now, when we're talking, I don't know what to say because I don't really know what to say to get you into. I don't know where you at.
Yeah.
And you're not telling me.
I can't facilitate what's going on.
Yeah, and it's like, why are you so level? Why are you just like unemotional? Why? Because with everything that goes up also can go down, right? And if I'm just in the middle, then I don't have an emotional reaction that's negative. I don't necessarily have one that's positive, but I don't have one that's negative. So she don't like that, but she also don't like the negative. It's like, okay. So
I'd rather just deal with this
let's switch. And if things don't work out and they keep going, now you get half of everything I got.
Yeah.
You don't even need it.
Yeah.
But you can take it. Okay. What if I just don't? What if I just have girlfriends? Or what if I go to Colombia every week? Or what if I, whatever, right? What happens then?
Life is different.
Life is different. Now, how is life different? What does that look like for the guy? Because nobody talks about this because it's not really kosher to talk about this, right? Well, you get to talk to somebody and you say, well, why does this guy want somebody that's half their age? Because at half their age, they don't have a lot of problems. They don't have a lot of problems. They're not in a high...
got money problems.
They got money problems, maybe. They haven't experienced a ton of life, so anything that you take them to experience, they're going to be super excited about.
Yeah.
So now you got somebody that's happy again. You're happy. And it costs you some money. Oh, where are you paying for it? Like, I got money.
Yeah.
Money's not my problem.
Yeah.
Money... I'm going to spend money with you buying every Louis Vuitton and Birkin bag or whatever it is. All this junk that you buying, I'm going to spend that money anyway.
Yep.
The difference is I bought you the bag, I bought you the trip, I bought you this, I bought you that.
And I still got to I
still got to deal with the fact that I don't know where you at on it emotionally, mentally on a daily basis. Yeah. I don't know where you at, right?
Yeah.
I don't know where you at.
Yeah.
But this other one is like, I could do one 1/100th of the amount of money.
And that's enough.
And it's enough because they're super excited.
Yeah.
And they're going to be excited with everywhere we go. Look amazing. Ready all the time, intimately. And when I'm ready to go back to work, I just go back to work.
Yeah.
And if I say, don't call me or whatever it is, or if I'm just, go from one to the next.
Just block them.
and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
They can't come in there and lose it on me while I'm trying to do a $500,000 deal.
Yeah.
Right? And constantly with me and the kids and the dog and the this and the that and I don't have none of those problems. Because a guy likes to stay focused.
Yeah.
Like singular focus. I'm here, I'm doing the work, I'm getting it done, I'm knocking the thing out, boom, boom, boom. All right, if I can do that, because this is how we work, right? I need to get to a place, a marker. Once I get to that marker, I've already set the time. I say, okay, as long as what I just did, I executed, I hit the goal in the amount of time, and I don't have to start the next goal till I got 4 days before I need to hit the next goal. And I know as long as I'm focused, and as long as, I've got everything planned,
good.
I know I'm going to get the next goal, no problem. Why? So I know that little block of time is, I can do whatever I want.
This is Brian, the owner of Sovereign. We have some of the best healthy Asian foods in South Florida. We have locations all throughout South Florida. We have one in Plantation, Miami, and then we also have different locations that's being built out. Make sure you come check us out. Be different, be bold, be sovereign, dominate life.
As long as I can stay focused. I can't stay focused if you're in my ear constantly. I can't stay focused if I'm super stressed. Because I came in there because you asked me to be this particular way with you or whatever it was, and I came to be that way with you, and I didn't know that you weren't in the mood, and I don't, we got in an argument, and all this happened, and now I'm distracted.
Yep.
Now I can't be on my game. Now I can't get my stuff done. Now I miss my mark.
Events.
Right.
Yep.
So which one is more appealing?
Yeah, it's gonna be that choice. But
Which one's more appealing? I mean, so I can see like there's a lot of logic to stay hyper focused, not with someone until the point where you hit your goal, and then you want that intimate interaction, and then go get that intimate interaction with someone that you know for sure is going to be happy, is going to be excited about being with you at the moment. It's going, all the whole interaction is going to be great.
Yep.
And when it's over, and then you go back to work, and you bump, and my life is great because why? Because I love doing the work that I'm doing, and I love being hyper. Why do you love it? Because you get product out of it.
Yeah.
You excel at it. You knock it out of the park. You get the thing. You get the goal. It's like, all right, I feel great there. And then I go have an interaction. I feel great there. And then I go over here. I feel great there. Okay.
Yeah.
It may be not great going through what I got to go through to get the goal, but at the end of the goal, I get what I want.
Yeah, no.
So it's easy to see how that is an appealing life that a lot of people don't talk about, because it's like, yeah, but you should be married. You should this. And it's not that people don't want it, but what they don't want is the negativity that can come with it if both partners aren't putting time and effort into addressing the pillars of life that are important. It's like, just because you got the financial, are you mentally good? Are you emotionally stable?
Yep.
Are you physically in good condition? And can you communicate?
This is an amazing episode. We'll have to have a part 2, because usually I go into how you even got to where you are, all of that kind of stuff. But if people wanted to find out more about you, follow you somewhere or check out your website or something, where can they do that?
You just go at Instagram, Mentor the Beast, and there'll be links there to. I have a school community that they can join. I have a free thing that happens every Wednesday that I do live, like a masterclass. And then, we move from there. But it's a Chaos to Clarity masterclass where if they're having trouble trying to figure out which direction to go, I help people. I just pick out different people that are in the class live and walk them through it. Yeah, so Mentor the Beast.
All right. Hey, well, there you have it. Listen, this will definitely be a part 2. If you like this, make sure you share with a friend, subscribe to the channel. And it's your host, Moneybag Rich. And at the end of the day, we always say, we look good, we live good, life is good. Talk to us, we talk back, and we are out.